You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about Michael Oher because the author of The Blind Side has come out and made some more comments about Michael Oher wanting to end his conservatorship, which he was granted by a judge who said they were furious that it was ever done to begin with. Of course, my response would be, why are you so personally invested in that you've got anger from it as a judge? Okay, you thought it shouldn't have been done? That's great. How about none of the theatrics that goes with that? But nonetheless, conservatorship was done. Michael Oher tried to say that he had no knowledge of it, even though his mother was involved with that being done. He was already 18 when that was done, and word has it that was done in part to allow him to be able to get into D1 universities like Ole Miss, which translated into a very lucrative eight-year NFL run. Panthers, Ravens. I mean, that's pretty good. And you got a little money from a movie, which the author has come out and said not anybody involved with the movie really made all that much money. Now, the claim was the Tuohys were trying to take advantage of him for money, but, you know, I refer you to this. In 2019, he and his family, talking about Sean Tuohy and Leanne Tuohy, received $213 million through multiple deals to offload most of those restaurants. And you may be like, those restaurants? Yeah. They owned a 115 Taco Bell, KFC, and combined restaurants. That's a lot of money. They were making plenty of money. They did not need to take a little bit of change away from Michael Oher, who, by the way, keep in mind, made $34 million in the NFL. Okay, even if you want to say, okay, after taxes and agents, $15 million, $14 million. Well, as long as provided you are even worth a rat's ass with your money, you're living a very nice life for the rest of your life. And that's never mind all the ancillary ways and collateral ways you can make money as a former NFL player. Never mind the topic of a Disney movie that grossed $300 million. Do you know these guys that make these weekend appearances to sign autographs and such make like 10 grand for 2 days? Even some of the lesser names make $3,000-$4,000 for 2 days worth of work. Now, there's always some Comic-Con, WonderCon, insert some kind of trading con going on. Guys, you know where I'm going with this anyway. And you get the point as context. So, the Blind Side author came out and today decided to blame, and in case you can't see, and you can't see that, I don't know why it does this, but you can't see the actual title of this. Blindside author Michael Lewis suggests catalyst behind Michael Oher lawsuit is violence and aggression. I think there's something else at work here, and I'm going to keep it real. I think this is partly got a racial component to it. Okay, I think somebody chirped it into Michael Oher's ears and said, oh my God, you shouldn't let them white folks take advantage of you like that. I'm going to keep it real. I just said it. And by the way, I've seen some of that online. Okay, not from me saying it, from other people saying that the Tuohys took advantage of Michael Oher because, and this in itself is an insult to Michael Oher, but they were calling him an illiterate black guy. Well, that's pretty shitty to say, and it's pretty awful to say, and it's pretty racist to say. But, you know, liberals are sort of that way. Yeah, I just kept it real, super real, right here. So, Arthur Michael Lewis has now blamed the NFL and the game itself for having caused Michael Oher to make these decisions. Revisited the Michael Oher saga in a recent interview as a judge in Tennessee agreed to end the conservatorship between the former NFL player and a Tennessee couple. Lewis chronicled Oher's journey in the book, The Blind Side: Evolution of a Game, which was later adapted into a movie with Sandra Bullock. Oher's life was back in the spotlight in August when he claimed Sean and Leanne Tuohy lied about adopting him and alleged the family used his name, image, and likeness to enrich themselves. Yeah, except nobody made any real actual money. Word has it, it was like a couple of $100,000. Really? I mean, I'm looking at the math. 4 years ago, they sold 115 restaurants for $213 million. 7 times what Michael Oher made in the NFL. They're not needing his little money. They're not. The author initially pinned the blame on Hollywood's studio system in an interview with the Washington Post when it came to financials from the book and the movie. I believe it was him in that interview that said there was very little money made off of that. But as he promoted his new book about Sam Bankman-Fried in an interview with The Guardian, he appeared to change his tune. Lewis maintained that the Tuohys didn't make millions of dollars off The Blind Side and insisted the lineman wouldn't have made it to the NFL if it weren't for the family's help, according to The Guardian. Well, word has it, he was in a pretty bad situation out on the streets, and this family decided to be very nice and take him in. By the way, Jason Whitlock came out and said recently that's going to keep a lot of families from reaching out and helping other people that need help. Exactly what has happened to the Tuohys right here. It's going to give a lot of people pause. I don't think he's wrong. I don't think Whitlock's wrong on that. The author recalled Oher being shy when he wrote about him and then speculated on him amid the lawsuit. Quote, what we're watching is a change in behavior. This is what happens to football players who get hit in the head. Oh, God. They run into problems with violence and aggression, he told the outlet. He suggested further that there may be a mix of Oher's history in the sport along with other outside factors telling him this was the right time to file a lawsuit. So he's saying right there, Michael Oher's thought process was poisoned by somebody outside as well. I don't know what to believe. I don't think it was CTE. Okay? I just don't. I come much closer to thinking it's the second part that I think he's on to something, outside factors telling him this was the right time. I think somebody in Michael Oher's life or a group of people have told him he was taken advantage of, which is crap. I mean, it's crap. A rep for Oher didn't immediately respond. No kidding. Lewis's latest comments comes as Shelby County Probate Court Judge Kathleen Gomez said last week that she was terminating the conservatorship between Oher and the Tuohys. A conservatorship in Tennessee is often used when there is a medical condition or disability per the AP. Gomes said that she's never seen a conservatorship agreement reached with somebody who is not disabled, but yet his mother was there and was fine with it at the time. Interesting. While Gomes is ending the conservatorship agreement, the judge is not dismissing the case. In August, Oher, the inspiration behind the 2019 Academy Award-winning film The Blind Side, alleged in a petition filed in Tennessee court that he was never legally adopted by the family but tricked into a conservatorship that solely benefited the Tuohy family. Quote, the lie of Michael's adoption is one upon which co-conservators Leanne Tuohy and Sean Tuohy have enriched themselves at the expense of their ward, the undersigned Michael Oher, the document read. That is amazing. Enriched themselves for people, by the way, that had an education, obviously had worked very hard to maintain. They sold 115 restaurants. They kept 11. Okay, so my math would say they had 126 franchise restaurants. They were making a ton of money. Never mind the $213 million cash out they made from the land and the restaurants when they sold the majority of them off. I'm sure they kept those other 11 because it's one hell of a salary. That's crazy to me. And I don't buy into the fact that this has got anything to do with something involving CTE. I think CTE in a lot of ways these days is used as an excuse to smooth over some bad behaviors. Let's put it that way. Looking right at Antonio Brown right now. But guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We see that get brought up all the time as an excuse. CTE. Now, do I agree with the second part of that, where somebody has chirped in his ear and given him some advice, yada yada yada? Yeah, I do. I think that's part of it. Is somebody has led this guy to believe he was taken advantage of. Again, I think there's a racial component to that too. Unfortunately, since everything that happened in 2020 has turned into race, I think that's a thing. And I've seen it on social media. I've seen people bring it up. A lot of people that have followed this story, that has watched videos we've made on it, the ones, I'm just keeping it real, the ones on the left side of the aisle has already made this about race. So, the white folks took advantage. Really? You can't give this guy any credit for having any brainwaves at all at the time and made decisions, and or his mother being involved? That's pretty racist and shitty, if you ask me anyway. Tell me what you think. You know we're not going to hold back on this channel. Tell me what you think, black and white sports supporters. This is interesting. It's an interesting topic and situation for what was once a really good and what seemed to be wholesome story that has been poisoned by something now anyway. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.